But coming up, for most of you, including our New York audience, it's NFL doubleheader action. Updates throughout the day. We'll see you back here on the NASDAQ Halftime Report. Enjoy the games.
Thanks, Jim. And coming up from the RCA Dome, Peyton Manning and the Indianapolis Colts will test themselves today against Bruce Smith and the Buffalo Bills. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
The Battle of the Sexes heats up on
News 4. Welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
In the big leagues now, football his game. Number one choice, Peyton, his name. Comes to the team many high hopes, works for a dream, plays for the coach, runs into trouble, throws to the wind, can't find a way to chalk up a win. This week, the Bills charge into the Dome, a team that has taken a few knocks of its own. But a funny thing happened to both teams last week. They each found a way to start a new streak. But today, only one will two-time that success. The Colts and the Bills next on CBS. The RCA Dome in Indianapolis, Indiana. The NFL on CBS, and it's an AFC East matchup. The Buffalo Bills against the Indianapolis Colts. And hello, everyone. Bill McAtee along with John Dockery. And John, two teams in remarkably similar situations. They both have new head coaches. They both have very talented young quarterbacks with outstanding potential. And they're both coming off their first wins of the year.
First wins. The Colts, of course, beat the Chargers last week. And the Bills in a huge upset against the Niners. And when you look at Peyton Manning, you see a masterpiece in progress. Last week, he threw a touchdown versus the Chargers. But more importantly, only one interception. And you get the sense that Manning is making better decisions. He's more aware. He's not making the big mistake. For the Colts to win, Bill, they have to protect the ball and protect their expensive quarterback.
Well, the next test will be today for Peyton Manning. It'll come in the form of Bruce Smith, and he's coming from the blind side.
Bruce Smith from the blind side last week against the Niners. He was awesome. He had 6 hurries, 6 tackles, and a sack against Steve Young. And Bruce Smith tells us he's not 100%, boy, but if he isn't, he's real close. And that will be the matchup that decides today's game.
Well, Buffalo won both meeting with the Colts last year, but these two teams always seem to play each other very tough. Bills 1-3 could easily be 3-1 as you look at Wade Phillips, Buffalo's defensive coordinator since 1995, took over this year with the retirement of Marv Levy. The Bills won the toss, so they'll receive. Chris Gardocki will kick it off. The deep man, the former Dallas Cowboy, Kevin Williams. And Kevin Williams really has done his job on special teams, giving the Bills good field position.
The Bills have been a team that's had their problems. They're 1-3, but you know what, Bill? They could be so much further along. They lost 3 games by a total of 9 points.
And we're underway. Bobbled in the end zone. Williams takes a knee. Rob Johnson, his numbers, 5 touchdown passes to 5 different receivers, coming off that outstanding week against San Francisco. Up front for the Bills, Fina, Brown, Ziegler, Panos, and Ostrowski. They've allowed 23 sacks this year. In the skill positions, Antoine Smith behind the lead blocking of Sam Gash. We expect to see that a lot today. Smith and Gash in the backfield. It goes to Smith. And he picks up 6. Defensively for Indianapolis, in the 4-3, Barry McCoy, Johnson, and Whittington. The linebackers, Elijah Alexander had 2 turnovers last week. Jeff Harrod, the veteran, and in the secondary, Burris, Blackman, Belzer, and Poole.
They are the worst defense against the run in the NFL, allowing 5.5 yards a carry.
Faking the end around up the middle. Maybe a couple for Smith.
So what we would expect to see today from Buffalo, of course, is that running game. They have Antoine Smith, as you mentioned, Thurman Thomas in reserve. An offensive line that's been spotty, but they're going against a defense that allows 181 yards in the ground a game, and as I mentioned, over 5 yards a carry. So the Bills don't run today, they're crazy.
Last in the NFL against the run. They had a nightmare game defensively against the Jets, giving up more than 500 yards on offense. Third down, short drop for Johnson. Pressured, sacked.
One of the things Wade Phillips talks about is Johnson and the sack. He tends to hold the ball too long and not get rid of it in time. This time, good coverage by the Colts defense. He was looking outside to the wide receiver, tried to pull it down, and then as he tried to scramble, which he does so well, he tripped over an offensive lineman, went down for a sack.
Larry Chester will probably get credit for it.
Don't hold.
Tyrone Poole on the return, and the Colts will start with excellent field position. A 41-yard punt, 8-yard return. Peyton Manning. Jim Moore says every week he keeps getting better at reading the defenses. Up front, Tarek Glenn will draw Bruce Smith, McKinney, Leuenberg, Mandrich, and Meadows. Falk and Warren will start, but we expect to see plenty of Ironhead Hayward today. First and 10 from the 48. Falk. Nice hole. Driven out at the 13. The longest run of the year for Marshall Falk.
The longest run before this year was 16 yards. And boy, he just took it off left tackle. There was a huge hole. Watch him outside now. He takes it outside, and there's a huge hole. And but for a good play by the safety, Kurt Schultz, number 24, with the angle to knock Marshall Falk out of bounds, that would have been a touchdown.
34 yards for Falk. From the 12. Falk inside the 10, perhaps down to the 9. Sam Rogers, Henry Jones combined to make the stop. Wiley, Washington, Hanson, Smith, they were huge against the 49ers. Holasek in the middle, Rogers and Northern on the outside. Irvin, Jones, Schultz, and Smith in the secondary. 2nd and 7 after the gain of 3. Motion, that's Harrison. Falk. Maybe a couple.
And obviously, if the Colts can get their running game in gear, it takes the pressure off the young quarterback Peyton Manning, and that's what they've been doing so far here. Of course, the main man for them, you saw number 33, Ironhead Hayward. He is at 5'11", 262 pounds, can push the pile on short yardage, also provide that all-needed blocking for Marshall Falk.
Falk is now the lone setback. 2 receivers to the right on 3rd and 5. Falk inside the 5, but short of the first down. Phil Hansen made the tackle along with Marcus Wiley.
And you hear the booing from the fans. If you're 1-4, they say, well, why not try to get on the board? And you know what? I kind of agree with them, because if you look at this game, certainly the Buffalo Bills have more talent. They would be favored against a Colt team that's really in transition and rebuilding. That time on 3rd down, ran the ball. Only 4 of 62 possessions have resulted in a touchdown. That's atrocious.
And all have come through the air. No rushing touchdowns. 22-yard field goal by Mike Vanderjagt, the former CFL player who has been spectacular this year. It's good, and the Indianapolis Colts are on the board. 10:40 left to play in the first quarter. 3-0 Colts. His wife in public. See what she does to pay him back. Don't miss Monday's #1 comedy, Everybody Loves Raymond, right here on CBS. Back at the RCA Dome, and the Indianapolis Colts are out to a 3-0 lead over the visiting Buffalo Bills. Chris Skardaki sends it deep to Kevin Williams, who fields it at the 4. Big hit by Keith Elias. The ex-Princeton star making a name for himself on special teams. And look at this, Doug Flutie now is coming in. We'll have to check the injury situation on Rob Johnson.
Remember, Rob Johnson was sacked on the last play before the Buffalo Bills had to kick it away. So a shocker that Doug Flutie, number 7, is in the game.
He has been excellent in relief. Twice he's had to come in. From the 17, Flutie. Complete to Moles. Moles has a first down.
And you know, Bill, you have to like Doug Flutie. Here he is, all 5'9" of them coming off the bench for Rob Johnson, behind 3-0. What does he do? First play, he throws the ball, just a simple hitch pattern. Admittedly a high percentage pass, but comes out throwing, completes it for a first down.
And we get word that they're checking the ribs of Rob Johnson. They don't expect him to be out long. 1st and 10 from the 33. Smith picks his way for 4. That'll bring up 2nd and 6. And Doug Flutie on Thursday had his number retired. At Boston College, he says that not a day has gone by in 14 years that someone hasn't asked him about the Hail Mary pass.
And number 68 is not Babe Ruth, folks. It's Mike Ruth, fine defensive lineman for Boston College. His number also retired up there.
And they call it a pickup of 2, so 2nd and 8. Motion. Flutie. Sam Gash, the fullback. Tyrone Poole made the stop.
You know, it's interesting, Doug Flutie coming down from Canada, where he had that great career, and he has such terrific mobility. Here it's just a, you know, a little play action fake, and then he hits Sam Gash out of the backfield. And Tyrone Poole, a little questionable, a little banged up earlier in the week, but obviously out there playing at the corner for the Colts.
Thurman Thomas has checked in for Buffalo on 3rd and 5. Here come the Colts. Great read by Flutie and a first down, Buffalo. Robert Blackman made the stop.
You know, talking to Wade Phillips last night, he was saying that Thurman Thomas still has it, still has juice in his legs, and in certain situations, we're not going to wear him out. We'd wipe him there late in the game. And Thurman Thomas, how many years have you seen him do this? Just slips out of the backfield, bumps the defensive end, slips out, catches the ball, and after he catches it, picks up that first down.
And Flutie is 3 of 3 for 26 yards. From the 41, Smith. Close to midfield. Tony McCoy made the stop for Indianapolis.
If you look at Doug Flutie's numbers, that's 5 years as a pro. Obviously are deceiving because of the decade that he spent in Canada, and he was unbelievable up there, winning any number of Grey Cups and just a spectacular performance. Wants another shot in the NFL. Always believed he could play. People have said he's too small.
2nd and 6. Flutie completes another one. That's 4 straight. Quinn early. And another Buffalo first down.
If you watch Doug Flutie on this play, there's no indecisiveness at all. He drops back, straight back, sets up, and then the velocity on the ball, bing, it's right there to Quinn early for the first down.
First and 10 from the 41. Buffalo driving. Play action. Flutie slips. Still completes the pass. A gain of 1.
That time, Doug Flutie is just so swift. Watch him. It's a bootleg. Hides the ball, and then he slips right here. But watch his athletic ability. He's up before you know it, and he finds the tight end, Lonnie Johnson, for about a yard gain. Instead of taking a loss, he gets rid of the ball for a short gain.
2nd and 9. Thomas is the lone setback. 2 receivers to the left. And it's Thomas. Quick feet down to the 35.
You know, Rob Johnson out, as we mentioned, on the sidelines, ribs. And, of course, Wade Phillips traded to Jacksonville to get Rod Johnson. He believes that he is the quarterback, the franchise quarterback of the future. Right now, he's on the sidelines, but certainly Doug Flutie has some weapons like Thurman Thomas, the wily veteran. Look at all those 1,000-yard seasons.
Now mostly a role player. They like him fresh in the 4th quarter. This is the 9th play of the drive. 3rd and 4. Straight back, Flutie. Tried to hit Quinn early.
Tyrone Poole on the coverage. Quinn Early on the deep out, and the ball was just a little underthrown. He tried to throw it low and away so that Early could make the catch. Watch the ball. He wobbles a little bit. It's down and outside. He's hoping the receiver can dive. He's trying not to give Poole, the defensive back, any chance.
53-yard attempt. No good. Longest of the year for Steve Christie, 45. And it's still Indianapolis 3-0.
The car comes in.
Your body temperature comes up. Feel the heat radiating out of your skin.
It's nasty hot.
We asked some of the hottest guys in the pits to switch antiperspirants.
Ultra dry degree, body heat activated.
Wow, I've never seen this before.
When your body heat rises degrees, powerful ultra dry form releases extra protection when you need it most.
This is one of the few products that can keep up with me.
It kept me dry, ultra dry.
Worked better than my old stick.
Degree ultra dry. Now more than ever, your body heat turns it on.
The proof is in the pits.
What were the skies like when you were young?
There were lots of stars at night, and when it would rain, it would all turn. They were beautiful, the most beautiful skies, as a matter of fact. The sunsets were purple and red and yellow and on fire. The clouds would catch the colors everywhere. That's neat, because I used to look at them all the time when I was little. You don't see that.
When we drafted Tim Duncan, I invited him to my home to get ready for the season. He was learning so much.
That doesn't count. You were out.
The roses are out, Timmy, not the daisies. So one day, you brought this into my home.
It's not something I'm proud of.
I calmly explained how Edge Pro Gel protects better than foam because it has 8 rich lubricants.
David sure knew how to make a guy feel comfortable.
More lemonade, Tim?
Edge Pro Gel. Save your skin.
The roses, Tim, are out of bounds.
Go with the gnomes. The gnomes can be out of bounds.
No. When the Italian mob kidnaps the Admiral's daughter,
Maybe they grabbed her for ransom.
they never expected to end up in harm's way.
Where'd it go?
Jang, new episode, CBS Tuesday.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Volkswagen and by Degree.
Doug Flutie had a big game coming off the bench in the season opener when Rob Johnson suffered a concussion. He was 12 or 20 for 158 yards and 2 touchdowns. That drive, 5 of 6 for 36. Again, the Colts with excellent field position. This is Dilger for a first down. Stopped at the 37.
That's what we're talking about when we're talking about the maturity of Peyton Manning. This is a seam pattern against the zone to the tight end. A little fake here, not much, but he gets the ball, rid of the ball when he should, before the defense can react, before Holisek, the middle linebacker, can get over there and break it up. Perfect throw, first down to Dilger.
The gain of 21, first and 10 from the 36. Out of the shotgun, split backs, Warren and Fall. The play action. had a step.
That's a ball Peyton Manning should simply throw away. And he did. He was kind of tentative. He didn't know whether to throw it away or try to get it into Marshall Faulk. There was a defender in front of the receiver, so it was a good thing. 2 or 3 weeks ago, he probably would have thrown that into coverage, possibly had it intercepted. He has 12 interceptions this year, and that's been a huge problem for Peyton Manning.
Motion, that's Pathan. Faulk picks up 3. That'll bring up a 3rd and 7. And coming up on the NASDAQ Halftime Report, join Jim Nance, Marcus Allen, Brent Jones, and George Seifert for all the scores and highlights. Plus, Vern Lundquist, Randy Cross preview the Denver-Seattle matchup. That's all coming up. NASDAQ Halftime Report.
Denver-Seattle, interesting. Warren Moon having rib problems as well. Cracked him last week. Is going to try to play. Rob Johnson out here today with rib problems.
Faulk 5 carries, 51 yards. Manning from the shotgun. We may get a flag. It's intended for Harrison. And Ken Irvin had a serious hole going.
He certainly did, because he was afraid that Marvin Harrison, the Colts' best wide receiver and Peyton Manning's favorite target, would be able to recover and come back and get that ball. So Irvin, 27, held him. He almost tackled him.
Pass interference, number 27, defense, automatic first down.
It's one of those desperate situations a defensive back gets in. He actually slips, the receiver slips. Take a look at it here. The shotgun. Manning actually throws a very poor ball, throws it up for almost grabs as he's pressured by Hansen. And at the end of that play, it was just Irvin holding on to the receiver Harrison.
Lamont Warren in motion. Faulk. Maybe a gain of 1. Sam Rogers drove him out of bounds.
You mentioned Sam Rogers, and he did an outstanding job on that play to string it out, play off the blocker so that Faulk had no place to run.
Marshall Faulk, Colts' second leading receiver, coming in with 23 receptions. That included a 78-yarder for a touchdown against New Orleans. Also had a 19-yard touchdown reception last week. Now Lamont Warren is the lone setback. Pathan in motion. Warren, and he'll be stopped for a loss.
You can see the game plan for the Indianapolis Colts is to keep it close to the vest. They have lost most of their games on turnovers. Problems, we mentioned Manning with 12 interceptions. They just haven't been in a lot of the games because of that. Here they're just doing it close to the vest, short passes to the backs, to the receivers, running the ball reasonably well.
Colts have scored only 6 of 10 times in the red zone, and that just won't get it done. 3rd and 14. Faulk and Warren split backs. Manning. That's going to be short of the first down, complete to Marvin Harrison. Ken Irvin made the stop before Harrison could get away, and that'll bring up 4th and 7.
Marvin Harrison coming across the field. It's Ken Irvin's covering them. And this is really tough for a defensive back because Harrison is running away from him and into traffic. Actually, Irvin recovers well and prevents the first down.
So again, we'll see Mike Vanderjagt on to try a 33-yard field goal. It's up. And the Indianapolis Colts, with 1:56 left to play in the opening quarter, lead 6-0.
He wasn't displaying Glenn Miller in the streets of Moscow. Wait until you meet the mayor. He's a real surprise. 60 Minutes tonight.
Get in-depth NFL news and team reports at CBS Sportsline, and check out the game plan, where you can track your favorite team's roster moves, coaches' decisions, and depth charts at cbs.sportsline.com. Back at the RCA Dome, Jim Moore, the players presented him with a game ball after the victory over San Diego, his first victory as the Colts head coach. Indianapolis out to a 6-0 lead. Gardocki. And back deep, Kevin Williams. Williams at the 1. Gets it out to about the 25. Marcus Pollard made the stop. And that's where the Buffalo Bills will take over when we return to Indianapolis in a moment.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Staples, Goodyear, and by Campbell.
Back in Indianapolis, and Doug Flutie is back out to quarterback the Buffalo Bills. Doubleheader Sunday. Those are the games coming up. 1st and 10. I formation. Whoa. Antoine Smith. A nice gain, about 6. Bernard Whittington made the stop. Rob Johnson was in having his ribs x-rayed, so we don't know if he's going to come back in or not. We're going to assume that he is.
We can assume that, but I watched him walk slowly from the locker room. And you know how when something's bothering you, you walk real stiff with a slight lean to one side? That's how Rob Johnson was walking. That's why Doug Flutie's still in the game.
High formation, Smith behind Gash. Smith, big hole. And a first down for Buffalo. Steve Morrison made the tackle.
You know, how good was Doug Flutie in Canada? He was up there 8 years. In those 8 years, he was the outstanding player 6 times. And last year, he won the Grey Cup, and he was most valuable player again. Decided he wanted to come down to the NFL game. Again, he had a short stint a couple of times, but feels he can still play, wants to prove it.
Thurman Thomas has checked in. Thomas trying to get outside, stacked up at the line of scrimmage, maybe a loss of 1. Bernard Whittington met him.
Thomas had no room to run there, and you know, I mentioned Flutie having a short stints with a couple of teams. He was with Chicago for a little bit and also with New England, but you know, Wade Phillips said, hey, look, Rob Johnson's a guy, he's our franchise future, but if we get in trouble, why not have an experienced guy with great scrambling ability and a lot of confidence to back him up? That's why he got Doug Flutie.
2nd and 10. Flutie to Thomas. Stop for no gain. And that is the end of the first quarter with our score, Indianapolis 6, Buffalo nothing, and we'll return to the RCA Dome after this message.
Do you ask more from a truck than 99% of those around you?
Coming up tomorrow night, doctors face life and death every day, but what happens when the life you hold in your hands is your own mother's? Don't miss the new hit drama, L.A. Doctors, Monday on CBS. Andre Reed has checked in for Buffalo. He injured his shoulder against St. Louis, but practiced this week. We expected to see him. Got off to a great start this year, 144 yards and 3 touchdowns. Thomas and Gash in the backfield. 3rd and 9. Straight back, Flutie. And Sam Gash has a first down. Tyrone Poole made the stop.
Great read by Doug Flutie. He picks up the hot receiver. The blitz is coming. The Colts are actually in a zone blitz. They're dropping off a couple of defensive linemen. Flutie feels the blitz and sees the blitz and gets it to Gash in the flat for the first down. And once the big man gets it, boy, he's tough to bring down.
Gain of 15 into Indianapolis territory. 1st and 10 from the 48. Smith the lone setback. Smith. Nothing. Tyrone Poole was there first. And now let's send you to Jim Nantz for an NFL update.
All right, Billy Mack, thank you. I'm going to show you one good-looking rookie. It's Robert Edwards. First rounder. What a way to begin a career. 5th straight game he has rushed for a touchdown. That's a league mark since they kept the stats in 1970, and the Patriots up quick on the Chiefs first quarter. Let's go back to you in Indianapolis.
All right, Jim, thank you very much. Now the story of the moment is Doug Flutie substituting for Rob Johnson. 7 of 8 for 52 yards is Flutie. 2nd and 12. Smith. Maybe a couple.
Easy. That's enough.
Wade Phillips in his 23rd year as a coach in the NFL. We mentioned that the Bills could well be 3-1.
That's 3 games, folks. If you do your arithmetic, the Bills lost by 9 points. Against San Diego, it was the special teams. Against Miami, the offense didn't show up. Against St. Louis, it was defensive problems. So
they had an
last week,
18-point lead on the Rams.
Exactly. But last week against the Niners, they put it all together with that huge upset win.
Well, Jerry Markbright has called an official timeout with 3:18 left to play in the first half. Veteran official, I'm sure he'll be able to sort this one out.
You always wonder what they're on the phone about. I mean, you're tempted to make, oh, he's on with the stockbrokers. Market's closed, though. Nothing happened today. You know, Wade Phillips, talking to him last night, I think he feels good about this team. We talked early on that both teams are kind of in transition. You look at the Colts, they're really rebuilding from the bottom up. They get a franchise quarterback. But Wade Phillips and his Bills are much further along. They have a nice mix of, you know, veteran talent, and they brought in a new quarterback, whereas with the Colts, it's Peyton Manning is a franchise man, and he needs support. So 2 teams in transition, rebuilding, but certainly the Bills further along that path.
Well, you know about 2 of the Mannings, Archie and Peyton, but there's another Manning that's waiting in the wings. Eli Manning, who plays for Newman High School down in New Orleans, and he played Friday night as Newman went to 5-0, and Eli was 15 of 23 for 297 yards. That was one of his 3 touchdowns. Highly recruited. In fact, Peyton says sometimes it's hard to get through to home because the phone is always busy with college coaches calling. Says Archie doesn't really believe in call waiting, so he gets a lot of busy signals.
Artie, get with the technology. Come on, buddy. And he also says don't ask him where he's going. Peyton didn't like that when he was coming out, and certainly his brother Eli looks to be a spectacular talent. Doesn't like it either. Hasn't decided where he's going to go next year to college.
So 3rd and 9 from the 47. Flutie straight back. Nice defensive play by Jeff Burris, the former Bill.
And Bill Polian will tell you, in this division, you better have good cornerbacks. He went out and got 2 of them. Jeff Burris, number 20, who made that play, and Tyrone Poole on the other side. On that play, Andre Reed simply going downfield on the turn-in. Burris all over him, knocks the ball away cleanly.
Burris signed with the Colts as an unrestricted free agent in February. So that brings on Chris Moore. Tyrone Poole will let it bounce, and it does, through the end zone for a touchback. 47-yard punt. 12:46 left to play in the first half. 6-0 Colts. Next Saturday on the Busch Grand National Circuit, NASCAR's hottest wheels take off at the CarQuest 250. Our coverage begins at 12:30. First down from the 20, and Ironhead gets the call. A pickup of 7. That'll bring up 2nd and 3. Sam Rogers made the stop on the Buffalo sideline. A few moments ago, we saw Rob Johnson trying to throw, but grimacing with every toss.
Yeah, he was holding the left side of his rib cage, and every time he threw, you could see the pain in his face.
2nd and 3. Falk turns the corner. First down and more. Out across the 35-yard line to the 36. 12:07 left to play in the first half. 6-0 Indianapolis. 2 field goals by the Colts.
And Jim Mora knows he has 2 key weapons on offense. It's Marshall Falk, and Marvin Harrison. Those are the playmakers. Of course, it's Peyton Manning getting the ball to them, but those are the two guys he relies on for offensive punch.
Falk 7 carries, 59 yards. From the 36.
What?
Manning has time. Tried to hit Harrison, and Harrison lost his footing.
And guess who was visiting Peyton Manning? Number 78. At the end of this play, actually hit him, but this time coming across the field, Harrison.
Roughness, number 78. Low hit on the quarterback. 15-yard penalty. First down.
You saw Harrison fall, but what I was just referring to was 78 coming from his right defensive end position. Manning threw the ball, Smith hit him, and you heard the call, folks. Take a look at it right here. Bruce Smith, perhaps getting a little frustrated, comes late right then. Oh, wow, he hit him low. Boy, that's how you wreck a knee. Fortunately, Peyton Manning is fine. He's back in the shotgun.
Into Buffalo territory, 1st and 10 from the 49. Falk. And now let's go back to Jim Nantz for an NFL update.
All right, Bill and Doc. Well, at the start of this game, Steve McNair was sacked for a safety on the first series, but back he comes. And he'll keep it this time and take it all the way for a touchdown. The Oilers went for 2 and failed, but they lead 6-2 as we now just start the second quarter. Let's go back to Billy Mack and John Dockery.
All right, Jim, thank you very much. 2nd and 11 after the loss of 1. Split backs out of the shotgun. Manning. Falk picks up a couple. John Holisek made the stop. Holisek helped shut down the 49ers last week. Jim Mora, who said they didn't know if he'd coach again after New Orleans. He didn't want to come back unless it was the right situation. A chance to grab a quarterback like Peyton Manning certainly helps make it the right situation.
You know, we just got word that official's timeout before was the 50-yard line. The big Colts helmet, the paint is slippery, and players have been slipping on that spot.
3rd and 9. Manning. Oh, what a grab.
Oh, my.
Marvin Harrison.
What a catch by Marvin Harrison, Bill, but also Peyton Manning showing his maturity. The rush is coming from the outside. He steps up and he drills this ball. But what's a catch on the fingertips by Marvin Harrison. And you know what? Ken Irvin not far off. Beautiful catch, but what presence of mind and patience by Peyton Manning to wait until the rush went by and then step up and throw.
12 of Harrison's receptions have come on 3rd down. That was the most in the AFC coming in. Ironhead. Stop for no gain. The pickup on the pass to Harrison was 17 yards. Now the Indianapolis Colts have not been a second quarter team this year.
They haven't been a first half team or entire games. Last week, one of the things they did well against the Chargers for their first win was to get ahead in the first quarter. They were ahead 11-0, and they kept their turnovers in tow. They're doing the same thing here today, controlling the clock, nice balanced offense.
Lamont Warren goes in motion. Falk the lone setback. It goes to Falk, picking his way close to the 25. Call it the 26. Sam Rogers made the stop.
Bill, you talked to Bill Polian, the general manager who is brought in as the architect of the rebuilding for the Colts, and he'll tell you that Marshall Falk has it all. You know, he has the speed, the quickness, the talent. He can run, he can catch. The one thing he doesn't have is the size. You know, at 5'10", 210 pounds, you know, he can't take that beating that a guy, you know, 6'1", 220 can take. But certainly he gets it done, and he's a powerful force for the Colts.
Well, the numbers you saw on Marshall Falk, 10 carries, 64 yards. John Holisek, the middle linebacker, is helped off. 8:39 left to play here in the first half. And that'll bring up 3rd and 5 for the Colts. Again, Manning operating out of the shotgun. Underthrown. So once again, Colts drive stalls. Marcus Wiley, who's a good young defensive end for Buffalo. They think of him as the heir apparent to Bruce Smith. Supplied the pressure.
Boy, isn't that something to say? And, you know, you talked to Bruce Smith, and he talked about Wiley, the second-year player out of Columbia. And Bruce is kind of mentoring the young guy and feels that he's going to be a major talent for the Bills.
So once again, Mike Vanderjagt for his third field goal. This from 43 yards. Plenty of room. 8:17 left to play in the first half. The Colts extend their lead to 9-0.
Their one obstacle
I am not going to stop every 10 minutes for you to piddle.
could be Cheech's new water diet. All new Nash CBS Friday.
Coming up on the NASDAQ halftime report, join Jim Nantz, Marcus Allen, Brent Jones, and George Seifert for all the scores and highlights, plus Vern Lundquist and Randy Cross preview the Denver-Seattle matchup. That's coming up on the NASDAQ halftime report.
Ooh, Denver-Seattle. I like John Elway back. Denver undefeated. And how about Seattle last week in the monsoon? They lose to Kansas City, but Warren Moon hurt his ribs. I understand he's going to give it a shot today.
Joey Galloway banged up a little bit.
That's a serious game, especially for Seattle. They can't afford to go to 3-3.
Back deep, Kevin Williams, 2 yards deep in the end zone, brings it out. Close to the 30. Call it the 28. Anthony Jordan made the stop. And that's where Doug Flutie and the Buffalo Bills will take over when we return to Indianapolis in a moment.
NASCAR's Grand Nationals go for it at the Carquest Auto Parts 250. On Sunday, the NFL on CBS is revved up for Week 7, featuring the Bengals battling the Oilers, the Jaguars and the Bills, the Ravens take on the Steelers, or the Colts have their day by the bay when they face the San Francisco 49ers. It's the NFL on CBS, the way it should be. The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Acura, Wendy's, and by Advil Liquid Gels.
The report on John Holisek was that he just had the wind knocked out of him and he's expected to return. Buffalo 1st and 10 from their own 29. Doug Flutie again at quarterback. Short drop. Fires a bullet out close to another first down. And Andre Reed made the catch.
And that's just simply two veterans knowing what to do in a situation. Doug Flutie on the short drop. Andre Reed, around for 14 years, knows where that little hole is in the zone, and Flutie boy delivers it right on time, very close to the first down. And Andre Reed, you know, he had those shoulder problems. No one expected him to come back this quickly, but he practiced all week and said, hey, I want to be back. I want to help this team.
They'll measure. First down, Buffalo. Andre Reed played in 7 consecutive Pro Bowls from 1988 to 1994. And we mentioned he really got off to a fine start this year. 13 receptions, 144 yards, 3 touchdowns. The numbers now on Flutie, 8 of 10 for 62 yards.
Ain't bad. 8 of 10. Very good. I mean, Flutie's a guy who knows where to go with the ball. He's smart. He can scramble. He can buy time for himself. Problem is he's only 5'10".
Smith powers his way to the 45.
But you look at Doug Flutie and what a career he's had. Remember the play against Miami when he was in Boston College, wins the Heisman. I remember him when he didn't go to the NFL, but rather he went to the New Jersey Generals with Donald Trump and that whole situation in the USFL. Had success there, then goes to Canada and is just unbelievably dynamic up there.
Well, the Bills expected to be able to run the ball today against the last-ranked rushing defense. Haven't done it so far. Smith, maybe 2. Wade Phillips, and it must be such a joy for him to lose his starting quarterback and to be able to go to a guy like Flutie.
Well, Flutie's a guy who can take over the reins, and you feel comfortable that he's not going to make a lot of mistakes and lose games for you. I think Wade Phillips last night felt that he could win this game with his running game, with some good defense and forcing turnovers. So far, the Colts haven't provided those turnovers, and they lead 9-zip.
Smith, the lone setback. 3rd and 2. Short drop, Flutie. First down, Buffalo.
I believe the whistle had blown, and that's what the officials are saying.
Andre Reed got hammered to the turf by his old teammate, Jeff Burris.
Same play again. I mean, this time they know they just need 2 yards, so it's just a short hook. Flutie with the 3-step drop delivers the ball, and then teammates, former teammate, Jeff Burris says, "Welcome, Andre. Don't forget about me. I'm here." But the whistle had blown before Reed coughed up the ball. Oh, there you go. Super Bowl guys, 4 Super Bowls. Thomas, Reed, and Smith. What stars? Who was the 4th player from those Super Bowl years? I bet you'll never guess.
Pike. Pike in his 12th year out of Georgia Tech, and a timeout called by Buffalo. With 5:48, there's Mr. Pike looking on. 9-0. Colts in Indianapolis. And Monday night's #1 comedy, Everybody Loves Raymond, followed by the Brian Ben Show and the new hit drama, L.A. Doctors. That's Monday right here on CBS. Mark Pike, the 4th member of the 4th Super Bowl for Buffalo. Flutie, complete, and there's a flag.
I'll bet a lot of folks out there were saying to themselves, you know, that 4th member must be Steve Tasker. But no, folks, he's in the CBS booth down in Baltimore today.
Pass interference, number 52, defense. Automatic first down.
You know, Steve Morrison was simply all over Sam Gash, who came out of the backfield just to catch that short pass. And Morrison, the linebacker, was so anxious. He was hanging on to Gash before the play, so it's first down.
From the 43, clock runs with under 5:40 to play in the first half. Smith, stutter steps. They've been waiting for him to break one. This could be it. Touchdown, Buffalo.
There is a flag down, and that's why the cheers from this RCA Dome crowd. There is a flag down on the 37-yard line. Wade Phillips knows something's up.
Number 72, offense. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Joe Panos. And that'll negate the 43-yard touchdown run by Antoine Smith.
Now watch this. Antoine Smith just shows that speed. He bursts up the middle and then takes it all away. We can't see number 72 in the infraction, but, you know, Wade Phillips knew it. And take a look. Look for number 72 right there in your screen, holding on. Right there, and that's the penalty, and that negates a touchdown. But you know the Bills aren't going to go from their run game. They know they can run the ball against the Colts, the worst defense. But you know, Joe Panos, we talked to him last night, and his dad said, "What? Don't come back. Don't come home after a game unless you hit someone." And Panos says, "You know, I go until the whistle." That time, the whistle was on him as he was holding.
Had 3 penalties in one series in that penalty-filled game against the 49ers.
And he had a pretty good hold of Burt Berry, defensive end, and that was the call.
Flutie trying to set up the screen. Thomas has some room. Fighting his way down to the 30. Monty Montgomery made the stop. He and Antoine Smith were teammates at the University of Houston.
So watch this play again. Some interesting. Watch Flutie. He actually, his lane is, so he throws it side on. You see his lane was blocked, and then out in front of Thurman Thomas, number 79. You see him. Well, you can't see him there, but that was Reuben Brown, made a big block and a huge play after that penalty for the Bills to come back to pick up that first down.
Clock running. Flutie 10 of 12 for 85 yards. From the 30. Play action. Flutie with time. Caught inside the 10 by Andre Reed. Jason Belzer had the coverage. A gain of 24.
And one of the things you want to do if you're an offensive football team is get your third receiver, a guy like Andre Reed, on a safety like Jason Belzer. This is an out and up, and watch Reed extend himself here to make the catch, and that's with a bad shoulder. Take a look at it right here. Extends, makes the catch for the first down. Bills are threatening.
First and goal from the 6. Antoine Smith, the deep back. It goes to Smith. Battling his way back to the line of scrimmage. Elijah Alexander was the first one there. Belzer helped on the stop.
Belzer is a guy who is a tenacious tackler who'll come up and hit you, but he's small. He's 5'9", 195 pounds. Not a great cover guy. So on that previous play, they got the matchup they wanted. Reed on Belzer, and it was good for a long completion.
Belzer is the Colts' leading tackler, and you don't necessarily want that from your safety position. The Bills in the red zone scored 9 of 10 times. Second and goal after the loss of 1. Flutie scrambling to buy time. Touchdown, Buffalo. The tight end, Jay Remersma.
The joy of having a mobile quarterback. You saw it right there, folks. Doug Flutie, a classic scrambler, feels the pressure, gets away from it, darts out, but keeps the presence of mind. Beautiful. You can see in the end zone, Remersma, big target, makes the catch. Touchdown, Bills.
Christie for the extra point. And Buffalo is on the board with 2:58 left to play in the first half. 9-7. Indianapolis on the Flutie touchdown pass.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Honda and by Gateway.
The Bills with a 9-play drive, capped by the 7-yard touchdown pass. Flutie to Remersma. Remersma's second touchdown reception of the year. Took 5:15 off the clock.
Yeah, here we go.
Steve Christie set to kick it off. Back deep, Lamont Warren and Keith Elias. Warren a yard deep. Gets it out to the 20. And Mark Pike, who we talked about earlier.
Mark Pike around from those Super Bowl days. But you know what was remarkable about the Bills on that last drive was their ability to recover emotionally and just on the field from that 43-yard touchdown run by Antoine Smith. It's called back by a penalty on Panos, yet they recovered, they moved the ball and got a touchdown back in the game. 9-7. Bills trail the Colts.
Now Manning will go to work. 2:46 left to play in the first half. Play action. Oh, Marshall Faulk wide open.
You know what's interesting? The Bills are now in their 3-4, and they're putting their linebacker, Sam Coward. He's a rookie. And the play action fake, take a look at it right here. That little play action fake to Faulk holds the linebacker on the left side, number 56, and allows the receiver, Faulk, to get behind him, to complete that pass.
Henry Jones made the stop, gained 26. Warren picks up a couple, and Henry Jones made the stop.
Interesting sequence right there as Jim Mora and Peyton Manning tried to set up the run by the pass. Before that, they faked that little draw to the running back and then threw the ball downfield. That time, they just gave it to him in sequence, hoping that it would be open after the pass.
So we've reached the 2-minute warning. Indianapolis, 9-7.
My dad.
Back at the RCA Dome, and we'll get a chance to watch Peyton Manning, with all of his timeouts, work the 2-minute offense. 2nd and 8 from the 48. Manning. Falk has some room. First down, Indianapolis, and again, Jones made the stop. Well, protecting the football has been a goal of the Indianapolis Colts after a lot of turnovers early on. Marshall Falk hurdles one man, and it's another Indianapolis first down inside the 30. Manny Martin made the stop.
When you don't turn it over, you'll win, and certainly the Colts found that out last week, and they're finding it out today. They have no turnovers, but also smart play calling. That little center screen, and then a run to Falk.
Timeout on the field. We'll be back. Well, for 3 quarters, the Buffalo Bills shut out the NFL's #1 offense last week. So Indianapolis has been moving the ball pretty well on a very, very tough defense. 1st and 10 from the 27. Manning. Lots of time.
The idea for the Colts, Bill, is to get the ball to Marshall Falk 30 to 35 times a game. Let him touch it one way or another. He's spectacular out of the backfield. Manning showing a lot of patience in this drive.
Colts up in a hurry. The gain of 5, 2nd and 5. Again, Manning, that's batted down at the line of scrimmage. Ted Washington got a hand up.
The big man in the middle, 6'4", 325 pounds, run stopper, puts that hand up and knocks the ball down. Take a look, number 92. He had time. He was just trying to flip the ball, and it just reminds me when you talk to Peyton Manning what his dad keeps telling him. You know, the NFL is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Be patient. Be patient. Have some fun. Don't try to get it all at once.
3rd and 5. Torrance Small had a step. And Manning is disappointed. Another drive stalls. Ray Jackson had the coverage on Small. 59 seconds remaining in the first half.
What he needed to do was to put a little softness on that, a little air, and the receiver might have been able to go and get it. Instead, they missed. They'll try another field goal. The Colts will.
Mike Vanderjagt has been perfect. 3 of 3 today. This one from 41 yards out. On its way. Perfect. And the Colts extend their lead to 12-7 with 55 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Wade Phillips watching the field goal go through. Thinking, well, if we can stop them in the red zone or when they get close, why can't we do it the rest of the time?
But Wade Phillips also knows that if a team just continually puts field goals up and can't get touchdowns, that your team, if it scores another touchdown, can be ahead in this game 14-12. So, you know, Buffalo may not be playing great defense, but they're not allowing the touchdown.
Now 4 possessions for the Colts, 4 field goals. Mike Vanderjagt has only missed 1 this year. He's now 14 of 15. Gardocki will kick it off. Williams at the goal line. Gets it across the 15. Tim Houck made the stop. And Doug Flutie will have 50 seconds to work with.
He's got a couple of timeouts. He's got some time. And certainly Flutie, an experienced quarterback, knows about the hurry-up offense. And sure, he's not Jim Kelly, but certainly knows how to run this kind of a system. Interesting to see what the Bills do now. Whether they go into their shell and they'll say, we'll go in down 12-7, or they'll try to get some points. I think they'll try to get something.
Well, we know one thing. Flutie can throw the Hail Mary. Thurman Thomas, the lone setback. Flutie. Screen to Thomas.
Oh, my.
And he's clobbered at about the 20. Tim Houck made the stop. See a lot of Tim Houck in the dime packages. Flutie wanting to get him set in a hurry. Clock is running.
Is that Gerard Phelan I see in there for Flutie?
2nd and 7. Complete for a first down. Across the 30. And the Bills will take a timeout. Kevin Williams made the catch. Kevin Williams caught 4 passes last week against San Francisco for 87 yards in his first real play as the 3rd wide receiver.
And now if you are Wade Phillips, you have to be thinking, look, we have 16 seconds left. We're down 12-7. You know, we have the ball. It's first down, yes, but it's at the 32-yard line. You got to be careful here. I mean, I can see him maybe going to try to get, maybe even going downtown, but certainly don't want to do anything silly, come up with an interception or a fumble or something like that and give the Colts a chance to score. But I think you'll see Flutie do something downfield, but not something that's so dangerous that it could hurt them.
Pretty good numbers for Doug Flutie. Just joining us, Rob Johnson injured his ribs in the first series. And Flutie has come on and looked masterful. 16 seconds remaining in the half. Flutie straight back. Up the sidelines. Incomplete. Intended for Kevin Williams again.
Montgomery with the coverage ball, obviously thrown low. So now it's just a situation of either throwing it up real deep or else running out the clock. And you know, when you look at their receivers, yeah, Andre Reed's around and Quinn Hurley, but Eric Moles would be the guy. If I were going to throw it deep, Moles has blazing speed. He's the guy that can go downtown and maybe catch the long ball for a touchdown.
Flutie will run it. Gets out of bounds with 1 second left on the clock. So he'll have a chance to reload. Monty Montgomery made the stop. Pickup of 12.
Did you see what he did to the linebacker, Elijah Alexander? Boy, Flutie shows he still has speed and quickness and the ability to scramble.
That's Larry Chester, the rookie out of Temple. Limping. Looks like it might be a hamstring. He'll be helped off. With 1 second remaining. We were talking yesterday about, you know, if you could have anybody throwing the Hail Mary.
Yes.
There were a lot of votes for number 7.
1984, what, against Miami? I mean, what a play. Phelan in the end zone makes the catch, and Doug Flutie was talking about that. He said, you know, a day doesn't go by. I think you mentioned it earlier that someone doesn't ask me about that Hail Mary.
Colts are charged with an injury timeout. And they've got the prevent. Indianapolis certainly knows what's coming. Robert Blackman has the deep position in the middle. Now they shift 3 back there. 1 second remaining in the first half.
You just throw it up and hope for pass interference.
There it is. Incomplete. Knocked away by Monty Montgomery and Jeff Burris. So that's the end of the first half with the score. Indianapolis 12, Buffalo 7 coming up on the NASDAQ halftime report. Jim Nance with all the scores and highlights. That's after this message and a word from your local station.
CBS Monday.
This is Dr. Newman. I hit someone with my car.
Welcome to the CBS Broadcast Center on 57th Street in New York. Jim Nance with you on the NASDAQ halftime report. And with 4 field goals, the Colts lead the Bills at halftime 12-7. Marcus here along with Brent and the coach, George Seifert. How about the first half there, Coach?
Well, you know, Marshall Faulk's having a heck of a half. I would have thought it would have been Antoine Smith going against Indianapolis's 30th ranked rush defense. But Marshall's having quite a day.
I tell you, Doug Flutie's numbers are good, even though they're trailing 14 of 18, filling in for the injured Rob Johnson now with that rib injury. Elsewhere in the NFL today, look at the Patriots pouring it on the Chiefs with 2 minutes to go in the second quarter. Elvis Grbac returned from a week 1 shoulder separation. It's been all Patriots, including the rookie Robert Edwards. Scoring
Robert
game in a row on the ground.
Robert Edwards having a heck of a game. He's going to catch a touchdown pass here shortly, too, from Bledsoe. He's been quite an acquisition for this club.
18th pick in the first round. He's also rushed for 60 yards, aside from the 2 touchdowns. And Bledsoe, 129 yards passing and 2 touchdown passes. Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. Bengals just missed a chance to tie the game with a long touchdown pass. Darnay Scott hauling it in. The old teammates, Stewart and O'Donnell, chummy before the game. I think Cordell was able to break free to set up a Pittsburgh touchdown.
Good coverage in the Cincinnati secondary, but they don't keep contained on the outside with the defensive ends. Let Cordell Stewart run down the sideline. And I know you guys are ripping me for my Bengals pick, saying I'm the next Marcus Allen. But they're hanging in there. I'm not responsible for extra points.
Jerome Bettis got in just the 2nd touchdown in the last 11 quarters for the Steelers. And this was just a moment ago. O'Donnell to Darnay Scott. Touchdown. And hey, Carl Pickens, we picked him on the pregame show. 7 catches, 99 yards in that first half for the Bengals. So
make
a good
the
half
extra
there.
point. Jeez.
Tennessee and Baltimore. And the Oilers with Eddie George really getting some good yardage today, 85 yards in the first half. 49ers on Steve Young's 37th birthday. He's thrown a touchdown, thrown for almost 200 yards in that first half. Cowboys go to the half, down to the Panthers. It's Steve Berline, the former Cowboy, 12 of 13 passing and 2 touchdowns, both to the Rocket. And the war of the winless, Washington and Philadelphia. And Rodney Peete returned as the starter today. He broke free for the game's only touchdown. When we come back, we'll preview the Denver-Seattle game, part of our doubleheader day here on CBS, as we continue with the NASDAQ halftime report and enjoy Doug Flutie putting the Bills on the board with a touchdown pass in the second quarter.
All right, Jim, thank you. We have 2 of the walking wounded quarterbacks getting ready to go this afternoon, Randy. Warren Moon has that cracked rib in his lower left side.
And he's the most injured of our creaky, older veteran quarterbacks between he and Elway, and it all started last Sunday night. Ricky Waters went the wrong way. Warren Moon had to run in that slop, and Kansas City linebacker Donnie Edwards came in, put a helmet in the back of Warren Moon, and it's not the first time Warren has cracked that rib in his back, but he says the problem isn't the pain, because it will be injected and it'll be numb. It's the range of motion and the stiffness in the muscles as he throws the ball.
John Elway out last 2.5 games. First it was a hamstring, then a problem with his lower back, but I think he's ready.
He's way ready. He's stayed on the sideline for the last 2 weeks. I really think John Elway, no matter how he really felt, is going to play in this game because he wants to get back and play football.
When he arrived at the Kingdome this morning, he spent just a couple of seconds with Michelle Tafoya.
First time back in 3 weeks. What gave you the confidence in your body that this was the time to come back?
I felt well enough to play. So, I mean, it's the first time I could go, and so I'm looking forward to playing.
How confident are you that you can hold up a game and not re-injure those same, the back and hamstring?
You never know until I get out there, but I'm going to go out there and play as hard as I can, and hopefully it holds together.
Good luck, John.
Thanks.
This will mark the 8th time that Moon and Elway have gone head-to-head. John Elway has won 6 of the previous 7 encounters. Jim, back to you.
Vern, Randy, look forward to your calls. So Elway returns, and how does the Seattle defense stop that dangerous Denver arsenal? What do you think?
Well, Jim, the pressure is squarely on Cortez Kennedy, Sam Adams, and Michael Sinclair. They have to play the game of the year to stop Terrell Davis and John Elway. They have to do it.
Boy, you're exactly right, Marcus. You're looking at an offense here in Denver. They're #2 rushing. They're #1 as far as running the ball in the red zone. They're #1 as far as third down conversions are concerned. That's a tough task for Seattle.
Meanwhile, tough task for the Rams. They've lost now 8 in a row at home. They'll host the Jets. How do you see that one?
Well, the Rams could struggle again today. Glenn Foley's going to get a chance to air it out without Curtis Martin being in there. The Rams got to go ahead and attack Glenn Foley. Jets have only given up 6 sacks this year. If they don't put pressure on Glenn Foley and the Jets, Watch out in that secondary today for the Rams.
All right, Brent. The NFL on CBS will continue in just a moment.
On news.
Back at the RCA Dome, that's the story at halftime. The Indianapolis Colts have scored all 4 times that they've had the football. They lead 12-7, and this was the scene about 10 minutes ago as they tried to dry off the helmet. That was the delay that we saw in the first half. Brief officials timeout.
You know, Bill, I did a little research during the half trying to figure out what that was, and they said, well, it's not the paint. You know, it's not the field. Well, then what is it? I think it's some dampness with the paint that just caused it to be slippery, and the players are complaining about it.
We've seen a couple of players slide across,
exactly.
including Marvin Harrison. Well, I think the story probably in the first half has to be Bruce Smith and the fact that the Colts have been able to neutralize that big pass rush.
You know, I've talked to some of the Colts people, and they said basically it's been Glenn more than anything else, and they have neutralized him. We got a little help from the tight end Dilger there, but. And the other factor, besides Bruce Smith, they're also protecting the ball. No turnovers for the Colts. As you can see there, neither team has a turnover, but, you know, when Marshall Faulk has been awesome. I mean, his total yards, 119 total yards. That's 70% of the offense. So, I mean, Marshall Faulk is the man, and obviously protecting the ball and protecting their quarterback, Peyton Manning, and that's the reason that the Colts are ahead of the Bills 12-7.
Indianapolis will get the ball to start the second half. Steve Christie will kick it off and back deep. Lamont Warren and Keith Elias. Four Mike Vanderjagt field goals. The story today for the Indianapolis Colts.
But remember, the Bills had that big Antoine Smith, you know, run for touchdown call back, and there's the first half possessions, you know, all field goals. I mean, it's trouble because you can lose by just getting field goals. The other team scores touchdowns, obviously.
Warren will down it in the end zone. And Peyton Manning and the Indianapolis Colts will start at their own 20.
You look at Peyton Manning in the first half, and he's playing it close to the vest. He's not overextending himself. He's 7 of 11 for 83 yards. No touchdowns, but no interceptions, which is key.
Now, Peyton Manning had 11 interceptions in his first 4 games, only one last week in the win over San Diego. Marshall Faulk.
Got to run.
And Faulk gets it across the 20. Stacked up at the 24. Stopped by Henry Jones and Sam Rogers. A gain of 4, 2nd and 6.
You know, they talked about Marshall Faulk being the offense, but this is getting a little ridiculous. Before that last play, Marshall Faulk had carried the ball 11 times for 77 yards. Here he picks up another about 5 yards. He also had 3 receptions for 42 yards. That was 119 yards, or 70% of his team's total.
Hayward has joined Faulk in the backfield. It's Hayward pulling his way to the 26, a pickup of 1, 3rd and 4. John Holisek has checked back in.
And Jim Mora picked up Craig Ironhead Hayward about 10 days ago because he really didn't have a fullback who could move the pile in short yardage or be that lead blocker for Marshall Faulk. So they acquired him as a free agent, as you see, on September 30th, and he's playing his way into shape.
Hayward goes out. Lamont Warren comes in, and once again, Manning out of the shotgun. Lofts it up for Faulk, and it's picked off. Kurt Schultz.
That is a rookie mistake by the quarterback. He got suckered. Henry Jones was on the receiver. He didn't see the free safety coming over. Interception. It's Indianapolis 12, the Bills 7. We'll be back.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
After the first turnover of the game, Buffalo will start with their best field position, and this is what you go through, I guess, Doc, with a young quarterback trying to bring along 13th interception of the year. 1st and 10. Reed in motion. Pitch to Antoine Smith. Smith bulls his way to the 45.
Bill, Peyton Manning is still a rookie, as you mentioned. What he doesn't account for is the free safety here coming over to help. He thinks it's man-to-man with the strong safety, Henry Jones, on Marshall Faulk out of the backfield. But take a look. He doesn't account for number 24, Kurt Schultz, in the deep zone, coming over to help out. And there's the interception. It's a rookie mistake.
2nd and 5. Behind Gash. Smith close to a 1st down. Tony McCoy made the tackle.
Interesting block. Sam Gash, I mean, not a bad receiver, a great blocker. Remember him at the Patriots and all the good years he was there and what he did. On this play, he simply was a lead blocker on the linebacker, Elijah Alexander, and that just gave the runner room to pick up close to the 1st down.
Did a pretty nice job for Curtis Martin.
Yes, I'm sure it did. Exactly.
So 3rd and not quite a yard. Smith. Wow. Jeff Harrod met him at the line of scrimmage. It's going to be close.
I was sure that was going to be a first down. Smith, he looks like he can turn it up. He's got John Fina out in front, but Jeff Harrod comes over and makes the stick and doesn't allow him to fall forward. And they miss. It's 4th down and short. Doug Flutie back on the field, though.
Wade Phillips apparently going to go for it on 4th and 1.
Either go for it or try to draw him off sides. I think he'll go for it. Oh, my. Timeout.
Well, Buffalo takes a timeout. 11:34 left to play in the 3rd quarter. 12-7.
And young man turns football upside down.
All right, try this one.
Hello, Mommy.
NFL on CBS is sponsored by Cadillac Seville and by the NASDAQ stock market.
The Bills have only gone for it on 4th down twice. Marcus Pollard trying to get the crowd fired up. 4th and 1.
So they were looking to get the offsides. They didn't get it. They burn a timeout. I don't know why they wouldn't burn a time. Did they call a timeout? No, they took the penalty, obviously. They wouldn't burn a timeout there. It would be silly. Take the 5 yards and punt it away. There's plenty of room.
So that'll bring on Chris Moore. Trying to use the Flutie cadence to draw the Colts off, but Indianapolis would have none of it. Tyrone Poole is back deep. Standing at his own 10. Calls for the fair catch and makes it at the 8. So that's where the Colts will take over when we return to the RCA Dome. 12-7 Indianapolis. Tomorrow on CBS, if you haven't seen it yet, you're missing the funniest new comedy of the year. Kevin James and Jerry Stiller star in The King of Queens, Monday on CBS. Kevin James is very funny in that show. Worth a watch. 1st and 10, 11:26 left in the 3rd quarter. It goes to Faulk. Bounces off one man. Trying to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Now it becomes a little bit of a field position type of game, as you just mentioned during that timeout, Bill. The Colts survived the turnover, the interception by Peyton Manning. Bills couldn't capitalize, but the Bills punted it away, and obviously they have the Colts backed up against their own end zone.
Colts have the NFL's youngest offense. Clearly a rebuilding time. Lamont Warren goes in motion. Falk standing a yard deep in the end zone. Phil Hansen made the stop.
There's not much of a mystery if you are a defensive player for the Buffalo Bills. You don't have to guess who's going to get the ball. It's going to be Marshall Falk one way or the other. The other weapon for the Colts is Marvin Harrison, their wide receiver. But those are really the two guys that can make it happen for the Colt offense. Otherwise, there just isn't that much talent, although Pathan Jerome, the rookie, is a speed on the outside.
3rd and 8. Larry Chester out with a pulled hamstring. Doubtful that he'll return. Manning, incomplete. Tried to hit Jerome Pathan. The rookie, 2nd-round draft choice out of the University of Washington. Thomas Smith had the excellent coverage.
Thomas Smith is one of the best cover men in the league. See how he keeps his cushion here? He hasn't even broken in from his back pedal. When a defensive back can do that, then the receiver hasn't done his job. The receiver has to force the defensive back to turn and get out of his back pedal. Thomas Smith, perfect coverage that time.
And for the first time, we see Chris Gardocki back to punt. Williams near midfield. Spin move. There's a flag on the play. Smith is driven out at about the 44. Jordan made the stop. 42-yard punt. Illegal block, so that will push the Buffalo Bills back. With 9:51 left to play in the 3rd quarter. 4 Indianapolis field goals and 1 Doug Flutie touchdown pass for Buffalo.
Remember last week, the Bills were the beneficiary of all of those penalties. 22 penalties by the San Francisco 49ers as the Bills just went out and manhandled the Niners in a huge upset. To me, the biggest upset of the season. Gave the Bills some confidence that they can beat the good teams here. Obviously, a bad break for them early on for Wade Phillips and Rob Johnson, starting quarterback, out with rib problem. Doug Flutie standing in very capably, I might add. When you look at his statistics, Bill, you see Flutie has done a good job so far.
First half, 14 of 18, 130 yards, and the touchdown.
And besides that, he's moved the ball around. He's hit 8 different receivers.
An official timeout, and log on to www.nfl.com and check out this week's player spotlight on Broncos wide receiver Ed McCaffrey. Plus get team-by-team matchups, all on NFL.com.
Ed McCaffrey, the guy who they said was too slow, just couldn't get it done. And now look at him. Boy, is he something at Denver. And what a game today, huh? Denver at Seattle, 2nd part of our doubleheader. Ooh, that's a real serious game. So is this for Wade Phillips. And I mean, he's in his first year. You know, Jim Kelly, Marv Levy, the Super Bowls are history now. You know, Wade Phillips hopes that it's going to be Wade Phillips, Rob Johnson. Today it's Doug Flutie, but hopes that he can blend those veteran stars, you know, with the young guys coming up to make the Buffalo Bills a force.
Now, the word on Rob Johnson is that his return is doubtful because of the bruised ribs.
Rob Johnson is a guy who's taken some hits this year, had a couple of concussions, was knocked out of games, but this is keeping him out this afternoon.
Flutie will start from his own 41, straight back. Smith can't hang on. Big pop by Jason Belzer.
I mean, you watch this play on Smith coming out of the backfield. Flutie gets the ball there and hurry. But just listen to it. I'm not even going to talk. Belzer comes up from the secondary. Boy, does he lay it on you. May not be the best at covering center field for the Colts, but boy, will he hit you.
Thurman Thomas is the deep back. 2nd and 10. It goes to Thomas. Has some room. Pickup of 8. 3rd and 2. Jeff Harrod, the veteran, made the stop along with Robert Blackman.
You know, it's interesting to watch Thurman Thomas. 11 years. You know, running backs, when they get to that age, start to wear down. But, you know, with Antoine Smith here, they can spell Thurman Thomas and not wear him out. That time he just showed that burst, a spin at the end to pick up extra yardage. Makes it 3rd and short for the Bills.
Thomas stays in. 3rd and call it 3. Flutie. Gash has some room. Lowers his head. Bulls his way down inside the 35. Jeff Burris rode him out of bounds.
That had to be a broken coverage for the Colts. Jeff Burris was covering Andre Reed, and nobody, as you watch the replay, was covering Sam Gash out of the backfield. Just see, there's nobody there. Obviously, the linebacker blew it, and big gain and a key gain for the Bills. First down.
Pickup of 18. 3rd reception by Gash for 35 yards. Thomas. What? Call it 5, 2nd and 5.
And you know that the Bills will not abandon their game plan coming in, which was to run the ball against a defense that's worst in the NFL, allowing 5.5 yards per rush. So they're not going to abandon that. They know they can move the ball.
Pair Doug Flutie, Peyton Manning. Flutie with 148 yards and the touchdown. Manning 83 yards, no touchdowns and an interception. 2nd and 5 at the 27. Flutie again, continuing to pick apart the Colts defense. Again, he goes to Gash.
Same play to the opposite side, Bill. Only this time, the middle linebacker, Jeff Harrod, got out to make the play. See, it's just the opposite way. Not much of a fake, just flips it out to Gash in the flat, but ball's a little behind him. But Harrod this time did not miss his assignment, was out in the flat to make the tackle very close to a first down.
They're going to measure. This is really a new wrinkle for the Buffalo offense. Gash had only 5 receptions coming in. He has 4 today for 44 yards. And another Buffalo first down.
Nice balance on this drive for the Bills. You get a sense that Doug Flutie simply is a veteran quarterback and has the situation in hand for Wade Phillips. Nice mixture of running the ball with Thurman Thomas, the veteran. Little play action, throws the ball to Sam Gash out in the flat, moving the ball well.
Rob Johnson looking on. First and 10. Thomas. 4, maybe 5. Elijah Alexander made the stop.
You know, it's hard to believe that a guy like Thurman Thomas, 11 years, 8 years, over 1,000 yards rushing, averages 4.3 yards a carry for his career. Well, that's a lot of times lugging the ball.
5 carries for 21 yards for Thurman Thomas. Smith, the deep back now. And it goes to Smith. Joe Panos compares Antoine Smith to his old teammate in Philadelphia, Ricky Waters. Smith is bigger, but they have similar running styles. They both feel like they can break it from anywhere, although, as we mentioned earlier, Antoine Smith has really not done that this year. Had the 43-yard touchdown call back earlier today. 16 carries, 52 yards. Longest run this year, 23 yards. Thomas is back in on 3rd and 3. Here come the Colts. Kevin Williams is close to a first down. Robert Blackman had the coverage in the stop.
Blackman jumped on him in a hurry. The blitz was on. It was man-to-man coverage. Kevin Williams out of the backfield. It is going to be, it's a first down. Yeah, Flutie got rid of the ball the way he should because the blitz was on. Got rid of it in a hurry to the right man, to the hot receiver for the first down.
is carving up the Indianapolis defense. And the Colts want to talk about it. So 5:34 left to play in the third quarter. Indianapolis takes a timeout. Back to the RCA Dome after these messages.